Hello and welcome to News Central Now. I am Adebola Adejuba. The headlines. President Tinubu condemns killing of soldiers in Abia, sanctions arrest of perpetrators. Organized labor seeks president's intervention over new minimum wage impasse. Former President Jacob Zuma wants Electoral Commission over release of South Africa's election results. Details shortly. Let's begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has ordered security agents to go after the killers of 5 soldiers in Abia State and those behind the call for sit-at-home in Southeast. Tinubu said on no account should anyone, under any guise, have the audacity to kill agents of the state. This was contained in a statement on Saturday night. The president, who was reacting to the murder of 5 soldiers in Aba on Thursday, May 30th, by elements suspected to be members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, warned that the federal government will come down heavily against those who have made it a habit to needlessly attack officers and men of our armed forces. Residents of Abia State have been reacting to the murder of 5 soldiers in Obikabia Junction about on Thursday by unknown gunmen. The unfortunate incident happened on a day meant to commemorate the short-lived Biafran Republic and the deaths of some sons and daughters of the area at the time. Our correspondent Chiwo Gele reports.
Prior to Thursday, the 30th of May 2024, Abia State had been relatively calm on the days declared for sit-at-home by the non-state actors, with Aba always in full compliance. It therefore was surprising and shocking that some security personnel would be targeted for elimination unprovoked. Some of the residents have frowned at the development, which has now unsettled residents of Aba and by extension the entire state, with the new security measures adopted by the army and other security agencies. Although commercial and other legitimate activities have resumed in Aba, the people are inconvenienced by the several barricades at strategic locations in the city.
The soldiers that were killed, they were also family men, and they have wives and children. And it's really a bad one, actually.
Nobody should kill any man because you did not create any. Even God himself is merciful. He will always try to give us time to change. So for us, or for me as a person, it is barbaric.
Abia is known for peace. Those people that they kill now is their husband, their father, and their son to some people, and their breadwinner to some people. So killing of them will not solve the problem.
The state government had an expanded Security Council meeting on Friday to discuss the development and come up with measures of forestalling such occurrences.
The security agencies, the government of Abia State, and all well-meaning Nigerians feel very bad about what has happened. And everything that needs to be done will be done to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And that even as it has happened, that the due course of the law will take place.
The Army headquarters, in a press statement by the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, threatened to retaliate the murder of the 5 officers. While the security agencies already launched probe into the killings, residents are hopeful that only those found guilty will be punished.
I wish the government will be able to handle the situation properly so that the lives of the innocent ones will not be endangered and also be lost for nothing.
The fear of reprisal attacks is always there. When the other soldier was gunned down near the park, was there any reprisal attack? So they should remain law-abiding. 2 out of the 5 slain soldiers were sons of Abia, who have now lost their lives for what many still do not understand. In Omahefo News Central, Chinwe Ugile.
Vice President Kashim Shettima and former Lagos State Governor Raji Fashola have said the call for a parliamentary system of government being championed in some quarters may not necessarily be the way out of the perceived unjust distribution of commonwealth and infrastructure in the country. Speaking as a principal guest and guest speaker at the 30th anniversary of Yusuf Olaoluwa Chambers in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the board said that the only quality governance that could shape the society and indeed the system of government. They advised those calling for the return of the country to a parliamentary system of government to deeply reflect on whether the reasons that caused its collapse before the First Republic have been taken care of or not. And now to labor matters. Organized labor has urged President Bola Tinubu to personally intervene in the ongoing negotiation over minimum wage to avert the indefinite strike action scheduled to start on Monday. This is as the federal government warned that the national minimum wage being demanded by labor could destabilize the economy. Organized labor had given a May 31st, 2024 ultimatum on the new minimum wage. On Tuesday, May 28th, talks between the federal government and organized labor broke down after the government and the organized private sector raised their offers to 60,000 naira. The Minister of State for Labor, Nkirika Onyejocha, however, said the strike was unnecessary, urging the organized labor to return to the negotiation table for more discourse. In the meantime, labor unions across the country are gearing up for Monday's strike. Staying with labor-related matters, two affiliate unions of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria have given the federal government a 21-day ultimatum to resolve dispute between government and construction companies, which has led to loss of jobs in recent times. The unions, the Construction and Civil Engineering Senior Staff Association and the National Union of Civil Engineering, Construction, Furniture and Woodworkers, spoke to newsmen in Abuja, saying the crisis in the sector is taking its toll on workers. Our correspondent, Amadine Uyi, tells us more.
The press conference was attended by several members of the Construction and Civil Engineering Senior Staff Association and the National Union of Civil Engineering, Construction, Furniture and Woodworkers. The unions affiliated to the Trade Union Association of Nigeria said their sector is distressed, which has led to a loss of jobs of their members in their thousands.
The two unions are looking at about 52,000 workers. Already in the last 3 months, we've lost almost 20,000 workers. And the mass sack is still continuing. If care is not taken, if this conflict is not resolved, it means that in the next 2 months, we should be expecting additional 32,000 workers to be affected.
They urge the federal government to abide by its terms with construction companies and resolve the ongoing disputes with the companies, saying it is taking its toll on Nigerian construction workers.
The federal government should, as a matter of urgency, come up with a clear policies of strict adherence to payment terms. Arising from the foregoing, we call on the federal government to immediately resolve the conflict in the industry by involving all stakeholders in contract awards like Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Works, Council for Regulation of Engineers in Nigeria, CORE, Federation of Construction Industry, FOSI, etc.
They say they are giving the federal government a 21 days ultimatum to accede to their request, or they will embark on a strike action.
We urge the Ministers of Works, the Federation of Construction Industry, FOSI, and all concerned to amicably resolve the current conflict within 21 days. Otherwise, the two unions will be compelled to declare industrial actions in the construction industry in Nigeria to address this issue to prevent further loss of jobs of our members.
The unions are also calling for action to resolve the current insecurity challenges in the country, saying their members are being kidnapped by criminals and bandits as they go about their duties. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
To politics now. The crisis rocking the Edo State chapter of the Labour Party has taken a new dimension with suspension of the caretaker committee chairman Elizabeth Ativie over alleged gross misconduct and insubordination. The decision was taken at an enlarged meeting of the State Working Committee, which was attended by local government chairmen and secretaries of the party. Development is coming less than 1 week after she was sworn in as caretaker chairman of Labour Party and the state by the national leadership of the party after dissolution of the state ESCO led by Kelly Ogbaloy. Nigeria's electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission, has assured residents of Edo State, South Nigeria, that the state governorship elections stated for September the 21st will not be affected by the damage to the commission's state headquarters caused by floods. The chairman of the body made this in Benin City, the state capital, while assessing the level of damage at the facility. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, tells us more.
Recent downpour in Edo State, South Nigeria led to the destruction of equipment at the INEC state headquarters. Some enrollment machines for the continuous voters registration, the ICT department and operational vehicles for the commission were all submerged in the flood. The resident electoral commissioner for the state gave details of the current situation.
That by reason of your coming here and by reason of your encouragement, this thing that happened has helped us. We don't know our force. We don't know how to solve the problems. Thank God it happened before the election. So we are better equipped to tackle any circumstances.
The chairman of the electoral body arrived at the scene to inspect the level of damage, but assured that there is no cause for alarm.
Whatever it takes, since INEC is one national body, and we're only going to have 2 governorship elections in Edo and Ondo, we'll call for additional resources where it is necessary from the neighboring states, and that the elections will proceed as scheduled and will recover from this unfortunate incident.
While residents of the state anxiously look forward to an opportunity to exercise their franchise, expectations will be high on the commission to quickly fix any damage that can mar the pool. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
You're live with News Central TV. Let's take a short break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. Since the creation of a Niger Delta Development Commission in Nigeria, the adoption of development commissions is becoming more popular. Nigeria's lawmakers are already discussing the creation of a North Central Development Commission and a Southeast Development Commission, all expected to help address development challenges in the regions. Marvelous Obamano in the special report sought to find answers on why development commissions are now becoming the new trend in the country.
Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo in the year 2000 established the Niger Delta Development Commission with the sole mandate of developing the region. 17 years later, former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2017 established a Northeast Development Commission. These commissions, although different in their nomenclature, have the same mandate, which is to develop their regions.
The question you ask yourself is, what development impact has the Niger Delta Development Commission made on the Niger Delta? The Northeast Development Commission, some have accused it of being a conduit for mismanaging funds. Some have accused it of being a platform for allowing external interests to infiltrate the development agenda of that region, and that their own agenda is different from the agenda of the people.
Members of Parliament have begun discussions for a Southeast Development Commission and a North Central Development Commission, hoping they would also accelerate development in both regions. However, questions continue to be raised on how they will navigate the pitfalls of the mistakes witnessed in the management of the earlier commissions.
The 2 previous ones have not delivered on their mandate to solve the problems for which they were established, who says that this one now will do just that? And let me just raise another issue. These development commissions are federal government organs. They do not belong to the regions. They are federal government organizations to address the particular needs of those regions.
There are some who believe that giving states more resources will help improve development at the grassroots, rather than creating more bureaucracies which require more funding to service their operation.
These are bureaucracies. We don't need to create more bureaucracies. What we need to do is to give more resources to the states. And then the media should hold those states to account.
I would want to plead with the people of Southeast in the seat of power, be it the National Assembly, even the executive, to make sure that it's not going to be business as usual, that this law, by the time it takes off, it will be of a great impact, to the people of Southeast. Because now, what is this commission is all about? Is to at least help bring about healthcare to our people. At least help our educational sector.
They say that the inability of the two operational regional development commissions to function effectively should be lessons for those who will direct the affairs of the new development commissions when they commence operation.
The Southeast, we have to learn from the mistakes that is going on within the NDDC and make sure that it doesn't repeat itself in the Southeast Development Commission. And I really pray that our political class will not play the usual politics with the Southeast Development Commission. Our people in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, has been able to push this through. The caucus has been able to push this through. We pray that they will collaborate with the state governors in the Southeast to make sure that the beneficiaries of this commission becomes the people of Southeast.
With both commissions soon to be established, it is hoped that they will meet the yearnings of their regions in need of development. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomanu.
Earlier, we told you that Vice President Kashim Shettima and former Governor of Lagos, Fashola, have both condemned the calls to return to the parliamentary system of government. We're joined live now by guest National Coordinator, Middle Belt Patriots, Zadegi Yusuf. Good afternoon. Glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let me kick off by asking you, what are the implications of transitioning from presidential to parliamentary system of government for Nigeria?
For Nigeria, I think because we started off on that note from the onset, where we had, the regions, and it got to a point where a lot of things were not properly addressed, and I think where the military came in, where states were created, and all of that. Now, the constitution that basically has given birth, what we have now, the Northeast, not Central, Northwest, South, Southwest, Southeast, and all of that, was basically handed down. I've looked through it, and I will still do a very thorough, study of it. But the fact that it was something that was handed down by the military, it was something that was not representative of the peoples, of the ethnicities that make up the Nigerian state, the peoples that make up the Nigerian state, and it was something that equally incorporated or integrated into it the dominance of a particular region politically over the rest. The implication of it is that there would be more, it's something I welcome to begin with, there would be, it's going to represent more of the yearnings of people, or of the peoples, talking about their ethnicities, their localities where they are. And then it would basically make it, I'd say, impossible for anybody to subjugate any particular region's political, advantage. I think that would be the implication. And the call, particularly from Shatima and Fashola. Fashola, for instance, I wouldn't really know what his interest is, but for Shatima, I could quite understand, basically, especially if the structure or the status quo as it is it's quite favorable for a certain part of the country, politically especially, and it has also given a certain sense of entitlement for people who believe it almost basically as far as the play of power is concerned.
Mr. Yusuf,
it's more of a birthright.
Yes, if I may, because I still have a couple of questions for you. How would the parliamentary system of government, I was asking, how do you think the parliamentary system of government would affect separations of powers and even checks and balances in the Nigerian context?
First of all, there would be not so much power at the center. That's one, and two. Indeed, it's not completely wiping out the federal system as it is, because Abuja would still remain the federal capital territory. But in this case, the representation will be much fairer, and it will be more reflective. It reflects more the will of the people, especially of it would address the issue of indigents and all of that. And I think your earlier report spoke a lot about something that has to do with Niger Delta Commission, Northeast Development Commission, and all of that. The reason why those hearings are coming in is because there is also actually a structure in place. There are state governors, there are local government, chairman and all of that. But issues are not directly being addressed. The simple reason is because the method of representation does not basically carry the yearnings of the people as such. But in a parliamentary system, you would have checks and balances of power. You would no longer have that central authority where maybe, a few people, or by virtue of the current structure, already the dominance of a particular region sort of undermines the yearnings and aspiration of people who have been otherwise subsumed or subjugated under authorities where they are not.
I would like you. Yes, I would like you to speak on the impact of this system, parliamentary system of government, on the role of the executive. I mean, how do you think this would impact the executive authority and also accountability?
Well, it will do so very, very positively. It will do so positively. And I think, even though it's alien to us from the onset when the country began after independence, I would say whatever the military did basically created this scenario where we are basically in, where some people basically look like they have all the power to do and undo. But with the parliamentary system, first and most importantly, looking at the proposal, the draft of it, basically there is a clear line of how much executive power lies basically anywhere. There would be room to recall people who are not performing, and then there is equally that platform.
I am unable to hear you, Mr. Yusuf. Please try to check your audio level. We'll try to connect.
Sorry.
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
I don't really know. Am I audible now? All right. So what I'm trying to say is, with the parliamentary system and with the power that the regions would have, which is no longer what basically obtains now, there would be a lot. The closeness of the people will be there would be a shorter proximity. Let me put it that way, where every representative basically is as close to the people he is representing as possible, such that it doesn't just look like So primarily, it will the people objecting it are primarily doing so because that power to do and undo and the accountability that this particular structure does not allow, as far as the masses are concerned, would have been dealt with, thoroughly in the parliamentary system.
Well, perhaps we should take a look at other countries that have towed this line. What lessons can we learn, for instance, from countries that have transitioned from presidential to parliamentary system of government? What are the lessons? And if you could cite examples of such countries.
Well, in terms of transitioning, I wouldn't say, but I just basically, primarily, I look at Great Britain. I look at, their system where we began from, and I see, as far as that country is concerned, although it's of course we cannot divorce our colonial history with them, but as far as abuse of power is, it's not exactly a country where the prime minister is primarily known to sort of say they do that. And then in terms of, accountability and in terms of the use of power in itself or in terms of being accountable, that I think to a large extent is an example to basically, look at. And of transitioning basically from the presidential system to the parliamentarian, especially in terms of third world countries, I haven't really looked so much of that. But Nigeria would be a classical example that I think that would show some positive, especially looking at our diversity as a people.
I mean,
and like I said, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what are the potential implications, for instance, for political stability as well as governance, should we transition to a parliamentary system of government?
I am quite sure that a lot of it wouldn't. Yeah, there would be implications in the sense that whoever feels whatever power or whatever whatever mistake he had as far as the structure is concerned will definitely feel I may no longer be this relevant as I was. Now, it's a system that would not take away power from anyone, but would more likely empower people who were.
Seems we lost connection with Mr. Zararia Yusuf, but thank you so much for your insight on the news. Moving on to another news item. Amnesty International has called on the need to build a culture of respect for human rights among the next generation of Nigerians. This was made known in the nation's capital, Abuja, during the Amnesty International Youth Colloquy on Peaceful Assembly and its InterVarsity Debate Grand Finale. Amnesty International says the event will help empower young voices and foster meaningful dialogue on the fundamental right to peaceful assembly. Our correspondent, Amadine Uyi, reports.
According to the globaleconomy.com, Nigeria ranked 21st among countries with the worst record for human rights and rule of law violations in 2023. This has been confirmed by several reports by international human rights watchdog Amnesty International, which claims that rights violations continue to occur in West Africa's largest black nation. In order to increase their awareness and need to ensure that young Nigerians embrace the right to peaceful assembly, Amnesty International has organized a debate series featuring students from 12 universities across the country to help encourage debates and help youths embrace the culture of human rights.
We organized this program in order to bring young people into the human rights space. And the reason why we are doing it is to make sure that we create a culture of debate, and we also encourage young people to have a very good idea of human rights so that they can grow up to help in creating a Nigeria in which human rights are respected.
Amnesty says that it is targeting youths intentionally because it aims to build a society where human rights is respected.
If we concentrate on giving the younger people human rights education, definitely we will be able to build a society in which the rights of everyone are protected and respected. Best way to simplify or make the work of spreading human rights easier is to make sure that those who are coming up the leaders of the future have that culture of human rights in themselves.
And so the idea again is also to sustain, apart from this place, as they go back to the school, they become champions of what we talk about as human rights.
Some of the students who took part in the debates shared their experiences.
As a student, it has helped me realize that there's so much room for work. It's helped me realize the frameworks that are in place and how we can improve these frameworks. It's helped me discover NGOs like Amnesty International and many more. They are doing great work to promote human rights in Nigeria and the world as a whole.
I think that Amnesty has encouraged me to be more incisive about my understanding of the law, because to participate in those debates, I had to do a lot of law reviews and just analysis, just so I could make a good presentation on the stage.
With Nigeria's human rights rating not having the best of records, it is hoped that this new generation of citizens, expected to be leaders of tomorrow, will embrace human rights as a norm. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
In the northeast region of Nigeria, where the scars of conflict-related sexual violence run deep, a remarkable initiative is offering a lifeline to those who have endured unimaginable trauma. The survivors of such conflict-related sexual violence now form a network to voice out their concerns and needs as experts advocate proactive strategies of forestalling gender-based violence. Umaru Kirawa tells us more.
The pain of the survivors of conflict-related sexual violence in Nigeria, particularly the insurgency-ravaged Northeast, has been a major source of concern. Through peer support, shared experiences, and a determination to reclaim their lives, these women and girls are finding the strength to heal and rebuild.
We give them mental health, psychosocial support. We give them other counseling sessions that made them to be broad, that made them to be confident.
The culture of silence has been broken. And that is why today you can see we have survivors of GBV that today they have their own network.
They have went into a program for a whole 1 year that was funded by German Foreign Affairs. There's whole mode of recovery now, and these survivors, back then when we met them, they can't talk, they stay back, but now they were vocal, they come out again.
Through this network, the victims are finding the courage and resilience to confront the deep-rooted stigma and discrimination that often accompanies these crimes.
Jihar ta taimake mu, ta mana building capacity, ta yi strengthening namu, ta yi supporting na members mu. Har ya kai ga an mana registering na network mu.
As the network continues to grow, its impact is being felt far beyond the confines of the program.
With the 10-pact agenda, our 25-year development plan, the 10-year strategic plan, these are policies that are very friendly to GBV survivors and support the growth and enhancement of our environment. Each of us has a role to play, and together we can create a Borno state that is safe, equitable, and green.
The Nigerian Gender-Based Survivors Network is envisioned as a robust system that will foster solidarity, encourage healing, and drive policy changes. Survivors are becoming ambassadors of hope, sharing their stories and inspiring others to join the movement.
There's the need for we as mothers, and then next is the school where they go to school. The teacher should put it in their own curriculum vitae that the Holy Quran said, don't touch, don't do this, because everybody knows fornication is a sin. Likewise, the Bible. I think if we do that, we're definitely going to make some kind of reduction of GBV cases in our society.
A campaign to protect the environment was also initiated to encourage the survivors plant economic trees.
They can indulge in planting a tree in their vicinity where they are living, and it plays a vital role, particularly the economic tree, whereby they will yield or improve their healthy living in terms of their day-to-day activities, and economically will gear them towards gaining incomes in their family.
By challenging the stigma and empowering women to take their rightful place in their communities, conflict related to sexual violence is expected to be reduced to its lowest ebb. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
To health matters. Mental health experts in Abia State, South Nigeria, have called for collaborative efforts to raise awareness and tackle stigma surrounding mental health in the country. Some of them spoke at a summit organized by a Health Circle Concept Initiative and the Niger Delta Youth Council in partnership with the Niger Delta Development Commission, saying discrimination and stigma grossly affect mental health victims and prevents free access to counselors for their well-being.
Stigma and discrimination are major problems that mental health has had to face. It's a universal problem. It's not limited to Nigeria alone, but it's something that all of us have to be involved in fighting it. In fact, the bulk of mental health issues are issues that people, they know they are experiencing a distress. And for all these, mental health professionals are there to offer help.
As it stands today, it has affected a lot of people, and which leads to stigmatization and depression. And as it stands now, the economy, it's been out of everybody. Like the parents that have many children in school today are not being able to feed themselves, talk less of feeding the children.
Mental health differs. It depends on how someone was brought up or the way we tie ourselves to situations. So I learned that our mental health matters because we should know and discover ourselves. We should not let ourselves down in some certain things, and we should speak up to people about our situation and things we are facing in life. So they are doing a very good job, and I say that they should keep doing so because Nigeria needs it a lot. So shout out to them. God bless them.
I would say to NDDC a very, very big much thank you for this program, because we really appreciate the program. It's taught us more about our mental health and educate us more on it.
The summit will be of a great help to the students and the people who attended the summit, because it will help the students to be more focused, and it will also help the student to adapt to the society, to know that taking drugs and other related issue can cause mental health. So I want to thank NDDC who facilitated this program, and also urge NDDC to do more.
Coming up, former President Jacob Zuma warns Electoral Commission over release of South Africa's election results. We have details shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. The news continues in West Africa, where Ivory Coast former President Henri Bédié was laid to rest on Saturday in his native village 10 months after his death. Delegations representing ethnic groups from all over the country traveled to the eastern village of perpetrators to pay last respect to Bédié, who was commonly known by his initials HKB. Since Monday, thousands of mourners have flocked to perpetrators, which usually has a population of several hundred. Bédié succeeded Ivory Coast's post-colonial founding father, Felix Houphouët-Boigny, as president from 1993 to 1999, when he was overthrown by military in the country's first ever coup.
Le président Henri Bédié, il a été notre papa, Pépé, papa de tout le monde. En tout cas, il a fait beaucoup pour nous. Il a construit une maison pour nous, il a aidé les jeunes, il y a des jeunes qui travaillent. Moi-même, il m'a aidé dans mon salon de coiffure, tout ça là.
Bon, le président Bédié, il a été un homme de paix, il a été de générosité, bon, en créant pour nous, la population de Perpetrators, des champs, des plantations de VA, il a construit des maisons pour sa population.
And now to updates on the South Africa elections. Former President Jacob Zuma has sent a strong warning to the Independent Electoral Commission against declaring the 2024 election results on Sunday, as his newly formed MK party believes the polls have been rigged. More than 20 political parties have joined Zuma on this call. They're calling for a commission of inquiry into the result as well as a rerun. Meanwhile, the Independent Electoral Commission says it will announce results despite Zuma's threats.
All of you will be familiar with the provisions of Section 190, 1C, I think it is, of the Constitution. That provision requires, or in fact provides, that we must declare the outcome of an election as soon as possible after elections. And we have to abide by that provision, amongst others. That's why it was important that we make it plain in advance that this would be the plan.
We are going to need the time. Nobody must declare tomorrow. No. If that happens, people will be provoking us because we know what we are talking about. We are not guessing. We know. And why should they rush to count? And I'm hoping whoever is responsible is hearing what we are saying. Don't start trouble when there is no trouble.
China Defense Minister Dong Jun says China will act resolutely and forcefully to stop Taiwanese independence. The remarks at the annual Shangri-La dialogue comes 1 week after China held military drills around self-ruled Taiwan and warned of war following the inauguration of the new Taiwanese president, Lai Ching-te. Dong, in a forum on Sunday, said Chinese People's Liberation Army has always been an indestructible and powerful force in defense of the unification of the motherland, and it will act resolutely and forcefully at all times to curb the independence of Taiwan and to ensure that it never succeeds in its attempts. He adds that whoever dares to stop Taiwan from China will be crushed to pieces and suffer his own destruction.
其图谋中国人民解放军始终是捍卫祖国统一、无坚不摧的强大力量，将以及时、坚决、有力的作为遏制台独，确保其图谋永无得逞之日。
The Badminton Federation of Nigeria has opened its training camp ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games between July 26th to August 11th. Two-time African Games champion and four-time African senior champion Anwoluakpo Okpayori is Nigeria's sole representative in the badminton event at the Games. President of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi, revealed that Okpayori is paired with two national team players, Victor Ikechukwu and Emmanuel Joseph, at the badminton section facility at Ikoyi Club 1938. Obi said the Federation has concluded plans for the second stage of campaign for Okpayori in Italy. The president noted that the African champion will join the foreign camp organized by the Federal Ministry of Sports in Germany from the 1st to 21st of July. And that's all on the news. But before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. President Tinubu has condemned killing of soldiers in Abia, sanctions arrest of perpetrators. Organized labor has sought president's intervention over new minimum wage impasse. Former President Jacob Zuma has warned Electoral Commission over release of South Africa's election results. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adejuba.